welcome, good morning. You're watching Market Cafe with me, Snehi Shah, on ET Now. This is a show where we'll take you through everything major that happened globally as well as in India while we were all asleep last night. And in the second half of the show, we'll take you through all the important stocks that could be potential buzzers in today's trading session, as well as the stocks that brokerages are flagging off for us. With that, let's kickstart the show and take a look at what's happening overseas. Let's start by looking at what's happening on Wall Street. And well, all I can see is a sea of green across my screen. Good day coming in, good intraday moves coming in for Wall Street. Dow up 0.1%, S&P 500 up 0.5%, Nasdaq real winner here, almost a 1% uptick yet again coming in for Nasdaq. Now, stock futures were little changed in overnight trading Thursday after the market wrapped up its fourth winning month and the Nasdaq Composite reached its first closing record since November 2021. However, what weighed or what could potentially weigh but did not seem to impact the index so much was the troubled regional bank New York Community Bank Corp that shed more than 20% in extended trading after the lender announced a leadership change and disclosed issues with its internal controls. The bank, however, is already down more than 50% in 2024 so far already. I took you through the intraday moves. Let's take a look at how these indices have performed on a weekly basis. The S&P 500 is tracking for a roughly 0.2% advance. Nasdaq is up 0.6%. 30 stock Dow is the laggard among all of these three indices, down nearly 0.4% for the weekly move. However, let's take a look at the monthly move because, well, the month of February is over. The month of March is here. The major averages ended another positive month as the rally driven by an artificial intelligence boom and hopes for rate cuts chugged along. Nasdaq clearly was the best performer in February on the back of those Nvidia gains and Nvidia rally coming in with a 6.1% gain. The S&P 500 climbed 5.2%. Dow also added 2.2% for its first 4-month winning streak since May 2021. Thursday's gains came after inflation data showed the personal consumption expenditure price index, excluding food and energy. The Fed Reserve's preferred gauge rose 0.4% in January, which was largely in line with expectations. But well, this is the handover coming in from Wall Street. Let's take a look at what European markets have also done. And well, largely nothing to worry about when it comes to European markets. DAX up 0.5%, FTSE rather flat but in the green nonetheless. CAC 40, the one lagging among all of these European indices, down 0.3%. Stock 600, however, as flat as it could get, but in the green nonetheless. This is the global handover coming in. With that, let's also take a look at what crude has done, what's happening in the world of oil. And crude oil futures booked a second consecutive monthly gain as OPEC Plus is expected to extend its production cuts, and the latest inflation data was in line with forecasts. Now, crude futures largely held steady after the report from the Commerce Department showed inflation rose in line with expectations in January. WTI contract for April lost roughly 28 cents, which is 0.3% to settle at that $78.2 per barrel. The April Brent contract, which expired yesterday, fell 6 cents or roughly less than 0.1% to settle at that $83.6 per barrel. Like we mentioned earlier, personal consumption expenditure price index largely in line from a year ago and in line with expectations. Now, the PCE index is the inflation gauge for the Fed Reserve and they use it when deliberating interest rate cuts or interest rate moves rather. And traders bet on when the Fed will cut interest rates were little changed, with the market expecting the first cut to come in June. Let's also shift focus and talk about another asset class, if you could call it that. Cryptocurrency. The world of cryptocurrency has been booming, all thanks to the rally we did see in Bitcoin. Crypto prices extended recent gains yesterday as Bitcoin and Ether closed out their best winning months since 2020 and 2022 respectively. Bitcoin rose 3% to close at 61,274 on the final day of February, and on Wednesday it surged to 64,000 at one point before a wave of long liquidations triggered a pullback to yet again above that $60,000 mark. Bitcoin took a breath after its big run on Thursday. It's still, however, on pace for a 21% weekly gain. Other cryptocurrencies have also caught up. Ether has surged 3.5% for the week to $3,400.8. Tokens tied to Ethereum rivals Solana and Cardano have jumped 16% and 9% respectively. Well, so this was largely a wrap with everything that was happening in the world while we were asleep. Handover from the US, Europe, not looking too scary in fact from Europe. And promising cues for a positive open coming in for the US as well. Oil also holding on pretty steadily. With that, let me also take you through all the important cues that you need to be watching out for in today's trading session. While today is the first of the month, we will be receiving the February auto sales data. All companies are expected to largely be steady when you compare it on a month-on-month basis. So let's see how